live from the Dunkin Latte Lounge.
It's Z100, New York's #1 hit music station. I'm Josh Martinez with another Dunkin Latte Lounge interview, and this time I have Meggie York. Hello, Meggie.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. Now, you come to us from
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, how did you kind of start off in the music industry?
Well, I did theater when I was younger. Realized I couldn't act. So I was like, oh, I guess I can sing better than I can act. So I'll go with that side of it. I would just write music in my bedroom. I went to a local recording studio in downtown Cincinnati, did my first few songs there, and then I started posting covers and stuff on my Instagram page, and they kind of blew up. So then I started doing more originals and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I've just been booking shows, releasing music.
Do you remember what, one video cover in particular that kind of took off more than others that you realized, oh, there's something here with this covers on Instagram gimmick?
Billie Eilish.
Oh, smart. Her fan base is rabid. Now, I will say, if you were bad, you would have got bad publicity. But apparently you did a good job because you started blowing up. So you mentioned shows before. I know COVID obviously kind of threw things out of whack, but what was your plan over the last couple of years in regards to concerts and shows and such?
Yeah, so my first show actually won this contest with Kiss 107, the Cincinnati radio station.
That is a great radio station.
That you work for. And I got to open for Ava Max, Jake Miller, Why Don't We, Spencer Sutherland. It was very fun. It was in front of 3,000 people, which was crazy because that was my first show. And I was not nervous, not going to lie. Was not nervous compared to what I was expecting.
Of course. And
yeah, it was great. I loved it. Really learned that I love to perform live and not just record in the studio. And yeah, I've been doing more shows since then. I just did a couple shows a couple weeks ago for producers. I do EDM top lines too, feature on EDM songs. So yeah, I have been doing some stuff with that.
You recently performed at a music festival, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that. How did that come about?
Okay, so the festival's called Lost Lands. It's Excision's festival. And I released a couple songs on his record label with DJs. So then they were asked to perform sets at his festival, and I got to perform my songs that I have with them.
So you mentioned before 3,000 people in a venue in northern Kentucky. And then now you're doing, you did a music festival thing.
Yeah.
What was the different energy behind that? Because obviously 3,000 people in a building for a mega pop group like Why Don't We, it's going to be loud.
Yeah.
Whereas 10, 15,000 people outside may not be as loud, but you see them vibing. What would you say is the difference between kind of the smaller, intimate indoor and the big festival outdoor venues?
Well, for me, indoor, it's a little more intimidating because they're closer and you can see everyone. With the festivals, it's more of just people are roaming between stages and stuff like that. So it feels more less like a professional concert and more just kind of like a rave, like a party.
Gotcha. So everyone's just there to have a good time.
Yes.
Now, how would you describe your music style to be? I mean, you mentioned that you do a lot of vocals for EDM songs, which obviously EDM is just fun, upbeat. We're here to have a good time. But you're working with producers. But when Meggie's by herself doing her own thing, what's the type of style that you like to hit us with?
I'd say indie pop, bedroom pop with
Bedroom pop? I have never heard of that term before. Yes. Is that the equivalent of small, tiny coffee shop pop? Would that be
kind of a little bit retro, kind of groovy?
I need to Urban Dictionary that. And
I swear it's a thing. I believe
you. Although if I go on Urban Dictionary, bedroom pop may give me different definitions, but I digress. But your sound, who do you look up to and get inspired by?
Yeah. Chelsea Cutler.
Okay.
She's one of my favorites. I really like Daya, her first album. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan, but I grew up listening to all of her earlier stuff. So she's a big influence for sure. B. Miller is good.
So where have you found yourself? Obviously, during COVID, we were all kind of shut down. Where were you during COVID? Were you just in Cincinnati? Were you kind of traveling a little bit? Where were you during the COVID time?
Yeah, so I'm actually in school. I go to University of Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously when COVID happened, started, I was a freshman in college. So I went home, and then throughout that year, that's kind of when I mainly started doing a lot of music was during COVID. I got a little studio set up in my room and just recorded like all my originals and all my top lines out of my bedroom.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Technology is an amazing thing.
I know. And then the beginning of this year, I moved to LA for 5 months. Yeah, I did an internship out there for my major, and then I was working on music and stuff out there too.
So how important, I mean, I know how important networking is, and I think everybody knows how important networking is when you're dealing with any job, right? Even if it's just working at McDonald's and you start to kind of, walk around and network with other fast food joints, right? And everything in between. How important is networking in the music industry for you?
It's so important. It's everything. My motto is kind of like, you don't want to make professional contacts. You want to make friends.
But not everybody's out there to be your friend. Like, the world is not this happy. I hate to break it to you.
Oh, I know.
But the world is not a happy place all the time where people are, going to want to be your friend. And they keep it strictly down to business. And you got to kind of decipher that on your own. And obviously, you're a grown-ass independent woman. So you could you could manage that on your own. What would you say was the benefits of, COVID in LA for those 5 months?
Oh, gosh.
Because we can't just say, we know COVID sucked, but what was the positives? Because we got to look at some silver linings.
Okay, well, this is a little cringy. But since everything was shut down and I couldn't really meet people in person, I downloaded Bumble Business and Bumble BFF. I swear, they worked. I made great friends on there, and I made friends with these photographers and producers and stuff, and made music. It was cool.
That goes back to networking and how important networking is, because you don't know who people know. And it's not, listen, and we've talked about this before, where it's like the follow count on Instagram and Twitter and all these other social, TikTok. It's great, but it doesn't necessarily equate to having all of these contacts. There's the most powerful people in the industry have 1,000 followers on Instagram, and you would never know because they're not out here posting a certain way, right? And perception isn't always reality. So since things have kind of opened up a little bit, you have gone back to Cincinnati, right?
Yes.
Okay. What are you doing now with your career? Obviously, you said you worked with a few artists and EDM producers, but now in Cincinnati, you're away from that LA lifestyle. How has that changed? What type of music are you doing now? Yeah,
so I'm mainly focusing on originals, and I'm still doing top lines and stuff like that, but I'm really wanting to release an EP or an album next year, mid-year. Okay. So I'm just kind of planning all of that stuff out and working on the marketing side and talking with management about the details of that stuff.
Have you considered dropping out of college, or is that something that you have not, that you're just kind of, you're giggling,
I'm set on it. I'm graduating a year early. Oh. So I'm graduating in the spring.
Okay.
And I think I want to get my degree.
Okay. And what is your degree in?
Yeah, so it's communication and PR, which actually, in my opinion, really helps with the music stuff in a way, because I know more about the business side, and if I could either do the artist side of things after college, or I could work for a label or a PR company or something like that in the entertainment industry.
That's so dope. Now, you mentioned that you had an internship in LA, which is what took you to LA. What was that internship? So I'm guessing maybe something in PR, or?
That was at a tech startup accelerator.
I don't know what that means in English. What is that?
So have you seen Shark Tank?
Yes.
Okay, with the startup companies, they come in and pitch their ideas. It was literally like that. So we invest in startups and then we train them to be better. Not a startup anymore.
Now, is that something that while you were doing it, were you you know what? I kind of am digging it. Or were you always just kind of focused on the music? This is cool over here because I kind of need it for my degree, but I really want to do music. Is that something that opened your eyes, that whole PR?
Yeah, it was just for the degree.
Okay.
And I just wanted to move to LA for 5 months, not going to lie. But
hell yeah. No, listen, and again, this goes back to COVID. Now, you made some great connections. I know that first show that you did, that you said you opened up for Why Don't We, you did make connections with members of the band, with people in management, which led to you getting other shows. Now, where else have you performed? We talked about Why Don't We, opening up for them and Ava Max, and then we also talked about the music festival. But what other performances have you had? Yeah,
so just a couple weeks ago, I was in Chicago and I performed with this guy named Zavi. He opened for Seven Lions, who's a pretty big DJ. So that was cool. Okay. I like his music a lot. But I've opened for Logan Henderson. You were at that show.
I was.
Eben, who is Why Don't We's opener. Spencer Sutherland on his tour. And Elle Winter. She's so nice. We're friends now.
She lives in New York City, last I checked.
She moved to LA.
Did she?
Yeah.
She left.
We were going to hang out, but then I left.
She left the best coast for the West Coast. I like to say that when people leave New York to go to LA. But what can we expect from you over the next 6 to 12 to 18 months?
Yeah.
Because you are graduating in May?
Yes.
That's so exciting. I don't know what that feeling's like because I never graduated college. But what can we expect from you over the next year or two?
A lot of music.
Okay. A
lot of music. I'm wanting to do at least an original a month for the next year.
Okay.
Starting in January. So we're kind of just preparing for all that now. And then I really want to release an album or a longer EP in the beginning of summer.
Meggie York, thank you again.
This first song is called Party. I wrote it a couple months ago, and it is one of the singles off of my upcoming EP. I'm super excited about it, and yeah, it will be out next year.
You're home from the party, but never say that you're sorry for leaving all of my thoughts in the dark. Cause it's 11:30, but you'll be back here by 7. It's fine, cause I think we need time apart. So welcome to my lonely world, but now your candles, now I know who you've burned. Welcome to my lonely world. I hope you get what you deserve, but tears are having a field day. No matter what else I could say, cause every word in me deep like a knife. I think I might tell your parents how there is such an embarrassment, but I won't do it just out of spite. Take your tickets one night only. Think I'm crazy if you don't know me. Bring your friends and have a laugh, and I'll just sit here. So welcome to my lonely world, but now your candles, now I know who you've burned. Welcome to my lonely world. I hope you get what you deserve. I hope you get what you deserve. So welcome to my party. So welcome to my party.
This track is another unreleased original. It is called What Can I Say? I kind of just wrote it about being free and I don't know, just doing your thing without feeling like you have to hold yourself back for anybody else. I feel like that's a really good thing to always keep in mind, and to just do what you want to do and not do things only because of other people.
Not a mistake. It's not a mistake when I'm living my glory days, and I'm right in the ways, and I might break, but I'm learning to live like it's my last day. So what can I say? Sleeping into the sunrise, but riding all these highs and living the life I dreamed was mine. Dancing into the day breaks, not caring what they say, cause everything I have sacrificed is worth it all, worth it all, worth it all. It's not a mistake when I'm living my glory days, and I'm right in the ways, and I might break, but I'm learning to live like it's my last day. So what can I say? So what can I? So what can I say? So what can I? So what can I say? before this all started, wondering how I ended here. But the seconds are counting down, people are passing now. Everything's never felt so clear, but it's worth it all, worth it all, worth it all. It's worth it, it's not a mistake when I'm living my glory days, and I'm riding the waves and I might break, but I'm learning to live like it's my last day. So what can I say? So what can I? So what can I say? What can I? So what can I say? What can I? So what can I say? It's not a mistake. Yeah, it's not a mistake. So what can I say? Yeah, it's not a mistake. So what can I say? So what can I say? Hey, it's not a mistake. So what can I say?
This next song is called Every Time. I wrote this a couple weeks ago. Actually, I finished it really quick. It's kind of just about relationships, and I don't know, people just, after you see someone that you really cared about, it's really hard to get them out of your mind, even if you want to, or they weren't even good for you. It's really hard to move on sometimes, and yeah, I just tried to like portray that in this song.
See you on a random Sunday, mention that you're doing okay, oh. But you don't ask about how I've been. You don't care, you just forgotten, no. And maybe we could try this again sometime, at that local place right down the street from yours and mine. I'm sick of running into you, and I try to think about anything but you every time. Back into my life, think that it will all be alright. The pain that you would give me, acting like it's ancient history. Wish that I could erase it all, but I can't ever want it more. Every time, oh every time, oh every time. Drive by on a Thursday morning, never felt more all alone, and and my thoughts kinda sound pathetic, and that's why they don't leave my head, and and maybe we could try this again sometime, at that local place right down the street from yours and mine. I'm sick of running into you, and I try to think about anything but you every time. Break into my life, think that it will all be alright. The pain that you would give me, acting like it's ancient history. Wish that I could erase it all, but I can't ever want it more. Every time, oh every time. And maybe we could try this again sometime, at that local place right down the street from yours and mine. I'm sick of running into you, and I try to think about anything but you every time. Oh every time, oh every time. Sleeping on a Monday morning, waking up to the sounds of people, oh. I heard your voice, but it wasn't you speaking. It was just my dreams believing, no. Oh, every time. Oh, every time. Oh, every time.
To see more videos like this, check out DunkinLatteLounge.com. And if you're posting on social, use the hashtag Dunkin Latte Lounge.